Every day we're more exhausted. We haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears.
Yes, we like to fake our test, the grin. But the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids.
So join us every Thursday night to laugh at all our pain. Leaving in the parents' lounge, the cure stay sane.
Dude, amazing, man.
How do you like the new intro?
It's so good. It's like Gary Newman, like cars. Doon, 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 doon. Really great.
My AI really hit it out of the park today. He was in
Jamie
rare
King,
form.
Jason Gowan, as always, from the Parents Lounge, except a little different tonight. It is a Wednesday night because we both have stand-up shows tomorrow night. I am doing a fundraiser at the Mint in Hollywood to raise money for first responders. And Jason's doing some show in Pennsylvania.
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm at the Legacy Laugh Room in Waverly, New York tomorrow night.
Yeah. So we're going to just skip the show and put up an old one where we said, you know what? We got some stuff to get off our chest. Wednesday, here we come. So I reached out to a friend of mine who's like one of my favorite comics. I met him when I was doing Dry Bar Comedy. I met him many moons before, but we kind of bonded because we were on the same night in Dry Bar Comedy. Killer comic. So many stories about his dad, just hilariously funny. He has done, which arguably one of the greatest credits you can have as a stand-up comic, Late Night with David Letterman, and many other comics. But he's fantastic. Please welcome Andy Hendrickson is here tonight.
Andy!
Hey! Uh-oh. Oh, no. Here we go. Let's scoot in.
No, he's really that blurry.
I'm blurry in
Like
real
70s
life.
Bigfoot video or photo there.
I hit the preferences, said it had a button for clean up your appearance, and I hit it and it blurred me up. So
Well, that's how women clear up their appearance. It's like a woman thing of like, you know, what's her name? Elizabeth Taylor. They used to take Vaseline and rub it on the lens or something to give it the diffused look. So she'd have
really?
Yeah. She'd be like, I don't know if you're not old enough, but she'd be like white diamonds or something. And it was Elizabeth Taylor.
Actually, my wife only saw me through a Vaseline coated lens for the first 3 years we're together. She just recently learned that I'm not blurry in real life.
Why was she looking through a lens for 3 years?
Don't worry about it, Kaylor. That's how it was.
Did she have night vision goggles?
Look, I own a mirror. I've seen my face.
You know what's funny? Earlier today, we talked to Andy and we said, hey, maybe why don't you come in at 7:30? We'll check your camera and your sound. He's like, dude, please, I'm a pro.
I got a good setup. It's working now.
I am set up. Well, listen, I'm really glad you came to do the show. Jeff Lewis is not here tonight because his son he's at a soccer practice till 8:30. This is how the Parents Lounge works. A lot of us have prior commitments that we have to do. My kids are downstairs. I've let them watch too much TV today. I was going to make them read in their room, but there was no chance it was going to happen while I'm on the show and my wife's out.
Mine are in bed. I had a stand-up show tonight, actually, but I'm home now.
Well, Andy doesn't have quite the burden we have. And most of the time we have parents on the show, but I think once in a blue moon, it's really nice to have someone who goes, my wife and I just up and went to Seattle for the weekend, and we're going to brunch tomorrow. Like, we're going to sleep in and go to brunch.
That's right.
Does he not have kids? Do you not have kids?
No kids. I'll go get, you know what? Let me go get one. Hold on. I'll find one. There's a bunch out there.
Amber alert. I just got an Amber alert. Just went off on my phone. I got weird.
Hey, could I borrow your...
Well,
no kid. I have a dog.
I was never going to have
doesn't count.
And I had them at 50, so I made some choices. I was you but at a certain point, I was not. But you're married. You have a wonderful wife. You tell amazing stories. You're on the road a lot.
That's right.
Yeah. But the stories that made me laugh the best at the Dry Bar special. By the way, both of our Dry Bar specials are apparently coming out sometime in the next couple months, I believe. We'll see. We don't know, but we'll do a follow-up show at that point. But what made me laugh the most was your stories about your dad. Talk about your dad for a minute, if you would.
Well, yeah, he's a pretty interesting guy. He's Navy SEAL. And he was Navy SEAL. He was very modest about that for a long, long time. I didn't know that was like a badass thing. And till one of my friends came home from college and he's like, dude, your dad's a badass. I didn't even know. I thought it was like Navy sales. I was like, what do? You sell stuff for the Navy? But tank? What do you sell boats? I don't. But yeah, he was in the very first.
Would he be gone on missions when you were a kid? Was he gone for a long time?
I remember him going away, for certain trips. But when I was younger, I remember him being around more. I mean, he did I think at least a couple tours in Vietnam as a SEAL, and then but then we lived. But I remember him being away when I was a little bit older, like when I was in like middle school and high school, going to Saudi Arabia for like 2 months, and I was throwing parties at his house. At this point, my parents were divorced. But he was also in the first Ironman triathlon. He was in the very first Ironman, which I'm working on a documentary about. It's a crazy story. He bought his bike the night before the race, and put it together, and I was like, yeah, it'll work.
And it's that kind of Ironman is 112 miles on a bike.
It's 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and then a marathon all in the same day.
And he didn't even train on a bike. He just bought a bike the night before and went and rode it in the Ironman triathlon.
Yeah, the first one. There was only 15 people that entered the first race. 12 of them finished. My dad took 11th. My mom was supposed to follow him. She was his support vehicle. They didn't have like aid stations. There was no numbers. There was no fanfare. They're just like, let's see if we can do this crazy thing. They combined the 3 distance events on the island. And so I know Oahu. And my mom lost him because of traffic or construction. And so he popped a chain and was like stranded for like 2 hours until like a local Hawaii police officer came by and gave him a wrench or something. He's like, what are you doing out here? He's like, it's too long of a story to.
No, it's not. That's exactly what this is for.
I'm doing nothing. My dad said to the police officer, he's like, I'm doing 112 mile, and then I just did a swim, and now I'm going to do a marathon. They're like, what? What are you doing? People thought they were going to die. They had no idea. They were that was crazy back then. Absolutely insane back then. They were the first ones to do it.
I have news for you. To me personally, still insane. And I'll watch it. I think a regular marathon is insane to me. Have you ever even run a marathon?
I did a half, and I remember there was a full marathon as well. And I remember I'm breaking off to the right. This is in New Jersey. And then I was like gonna die. I thought I was gonna die. And then people broke off to the left to go do another loop. The second half. I couldn't believe it. So then when I think about an Ironman, if you swim 2.4 miles in the ocean and then do 112 miles on a bike and then a marathon.
Yeah.
It's insane.
The
cutoff time is 17 hours. So imagine you're doing anything for 17 hours.
Every year, Jason completes the Law and Order marathon, which is
there you go. Exactly.
That's a
I
challenge.
bought a bike 9 years ago. I have not ridden it so much as down the street. So I'm really ready for this when my time.
Yeah. Good. You put that on your.
So in the documentary, that's super. That would be a fantastic. You know what it'd be like a 30 for 30 on ESPN.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whose idea was it? Was it 3 drunk guys in a bar who were like, you know what we should do?
That's kind of the rumor, the myth. But John and Judy Collins are the organizers. They were friends of our family, and they came up with the idea. And there's some different stories about how it all came together. They're a little like I wouldn't say maybe the stories don't mesh up. There's some tension there, but amongst some of the original finishers. But essentially, John and Judy Collins they came up with the idea, and organized it. So I wrote a book for 20 years, but when I hit 50, but
hey, one quick second. Deaf Amanda is not getting closed captions. It will not pick up any of your voices, Jamie's, Jason's, and Andy's.
To convert it to CC is what.
Is it not doing it? It's only Jeff's Twitch.
It's only Jeff's Twitch, and because Jeff
Oh.
isn't here to turn it on, unfortunately, I do not know how to do that.
Amanda, we are so sorry.
But I do think if she goes over to YouTube, that it will work that way.
I think the closed captions are on there, and if not, can we do this so she could read lips, and we'll just talk. We could do the whole show like this. That might be too much.
He's right.
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of work. But for Amanda, I am
Write a note. Go to YouTube.
Oh, yes. And
Amanda.
Go to YouTube, Amanda. Yeah, it's nice. There it is. There it is. Go to YouTube, Amanda.
You read it
So I can look over there. The Parents Lounge, I believe it's called aren't we called the Parents Lounge?
I think so.
Lip reading takes so much of brain muscles. You know what's funny? I hate to keep saying Deaf Amanda, but I mean you've named yourself Deaf Amanda.
Well, she didn't write Full Hearing Amanda. I mean, we're doing the best with what we've got.
Well, no, but other people. Oh, there's Jeffy Lou. Possibly it may work over on YouTube, Amanda. Jeff, just click in. Send Jeff the link just in case.
You know that's me, right?
Oh, you're talking as Jeffy Lou?
Well, so when I moderate it, it goes out to all the channels that it's streaming
You
to.
son of a gun. That's so.
But YouTube does work for closed captions.
Can I be honest with you, Andy? I'm at an age where I use closed captions on pretty much every single thing I watch.
Oh yeah, you have to. It's
the only thing I turn it off.
Easier.
I turn it off on soccer because it blocks the ball.
Right. Yeah.
On sports, but otherwise, I have closed caption on everything, every single, even porn. I would watch with closed captions just to make sure I catch every word.
Well, otherwise you're going to miss the story.
And I don't like to get lost in my heart.
Yeah, I mean the story is important. That's the most important part.
Dude, where did they get the distances from? Obviously, the marathon is 26. Was some dude like, you know what? I could swim a couple miles, ride a bike. 112 miles is so specific.
Yeah.
Bike.
So it was pretty much like the perfect storm for this thing to happen. Hawaii had a big running community at the time. It was late 70s, 1978 was when they did the race. But they had a Waikiki rough water swim. There was a bike race. I can't remember the name of the bike race, but it was a 2-day bike race, which they didn't know when they organized the race because normally it was a 2-day bike race split up. And they added, that's the last piece. They knew they wanted to do the marathon and the swim, but they couldn't figure out exactly how to connect them. And so there's different versions of the story. My dad remembers them going, what if we used the bike and him being at this table where they're having a few beers. And then his buddy, John Collins, jumped up on stage and made the announcement. And everyone's like, you guys are crazy. They announced it a couple different times anyway, but they added that bike race, which they thought was a 1-day race. They didn't know it was actually a 2-day race. And that's how it got started. It was like the 3 long distance endurance events on the island at the time, and they combined them all together. So here comes my wife.
Hi, baby. What is the current record for the Ironman? It's
it's under 8 hours, it's insane.
It's insane.
We went. So I've been working on the documentary for a long time, since 2018. We found a bunch of the original guys, and 2 of them decided to come back in 2018 and do it 40 years later. And so we went out to Kona, and the guy that year broke the record, and it was under 8 hours. And there was also an 85-year-old guy that crossed the finish line that day, this guy from Asia. So that's my joke. I say, if you used to watch an 85-year-old guy cross the finish line in an Ironman triathlon, you're like, wow, I am a piece of shit. I
never had the urge, when my friends were like, I remember in my 40s, everyone's like, that was like a New Year's resolution for a lot of people. I feel like I'm gonna do a marathon. I'm gonna do like my wife's done the New York City Marathon, and she did it, and it was they had this training. There were books. You would do a training program for like 6 months and run a marathon, and then your life would be fulfilled and you would be completed.
Yeah.
Because I did it.
No.
I never had that urge.
No. Well, I did the half marathon, and I remember thinking after I finished it, I was like, "What? Why did I do that?
Yeah.
That sucked. I wasted so much time. I could have just done some light exercise and enjoyed myself. I didn't feel satisfied.
I have a friend who used to run them all the time. He ran like 10 in a row at the LA Marathon, and he got his hip replaced right after the 10th year. He had a hip replacement. I was like, yeah, of course.
Is that Knudsen?
It is Knudsen. By the way, he has the greatest marathon story of all time.
Yeah,
when he blacks out and he wakes up in the ambulance.
Yes, I feel like I remember seeing that.
So it's like one of the best stand-up bits. He's done the show as well.
Yeah.
Dude, and also your brother, like, I don't think people really understand what we do as comics. Like the challenge of doing the Iron Man is a challenge, but I think to go, oh, I'm going to headline an hour somewhere. Yeah. Like people always are like, well, we'll go out for dinner and drinks after. Like they treat it like it's not work. Like they don't understand.
They treat it like it's some sort of school play. Like they don't think it's work at all.
You're just like, well, you're up talking, and you're like, kind of, but it's pretty orchestrated. It's not. I don't just wing it.
Right, and depending on the environment and the situation, and sometimes it can be. It's not like work. It feels great. You love it every minute. It's like everything going perfectly. Other times you're like, I'm tired by the end of this. You know,
my wife's looking at you like, "What are you doing? What's happening?"
Yeah. Hey, well, this is live. This is live going out.
Hi.
We are live. So don't say some crazy stuff that would get you canceled. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't get me canceled. It's dancing.
And now your brother, isn't there? There's a crazy story with your older brother, not in show business either, right?
Yeah. Well, he's not in show, but no. Oh, so my brother, he's also Navy SEAL, also a retired 2-star admiral. Naval Academy.
That was our claim to fame. My brother's a 1-star admiral, and your brother's. Yeah. We're doing the dry bar comedy thing, and I was rolling laughing that our brothers are both admirals. It made me laugh so hard, and we were both the two guys who were like, "Nah, I'm good, man. I'm going to go do stand-up comedy."
Yeah, I mean, we got the right heads. We have the head. If you put the uniform on this. The flag, but you especially, I saw your new headshots. That's what I joked with you. I think you made that joke yourself. You look like a senator. Like
I'm trying to play the closeted Republican senator who gets busted at the airport in stall number 2. Yeah, that's
Jamie. Your career's about to take back.
I think so too, man.
You're back.
I have a SWAT episode coming out, like in 2 more episodes, where I play basically Rick Caruso, who's the mall. He's the mall owner.
Yeah, at the Grove.
I try to hire SWAT to be my security detail, and it goes awry. But
I can see you doing a lot of this.
It was a lot of walk and talk. Oh,
walk and talk, yeah.
And I just did a commercial. Tough. I did one of those T-Mobiles with Zach Braff and Donald Faison, where I'm a sports broadcaster up in the booth. So I'm trying to find my John Slattery phase of my career at this point, man.
Did you do something with sports or football or ESPN or something like that back in the day?
NFL on Fox, I've done a bunch of their morning bits. Bernie Kim's an old friend of mine. All the guys over there I love. Jason Palmer. And they write those little funny bits. And Knutsen's been in a bunch as well. We are like part of their like repertoire of players that come in to play like the weatherman or the game show host or whatever. But
right. That's awesome.
It's super fun, man. Those guys are great. What are you up to? Are you on the road? What's happening?
Yeah, man.
Listen, here's the deal. This is like dad porn for us. So when you sit and you talk to us about like, just like, man, I went to a movie today, and then I went and I sat by myself and had lunch. Like that to us is like, oh.
Yeah. Well, today's not a good one, not one of those good ones, but let's see. I did sleep till about 8:30. Does that feel good to you? 8:30? Can I?
I would kill for 8:30.
I haven't slept till 8:30 in 15 years, I don't think.
8:30 feels early to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, went and met a friend, had some Mediterranean food right before I came over to join you guys on the podcast. Walked the
Now,
dog.
did
a few
anybody
times.
during that
I took
meal?
a nap.
Did
took
a
a nap.
tiny person during that meal scream bloody murder at all for you?
No.
No.
No. It was like peaceful. It was quiet. We were able to talk about like adult stuff. It was
Well, let's go at it from the other approach of you as a son. How was it growing up? Because my dad was a pilot in World War II, and he was very, there was a plan of the day. Was the house kind of run that way?
Oh no, my dad, super laid back, whatever I remember getting in trouble. I don't remember a little bit getting yelled at and stuff, but I don't remember getting grounded. I don't remember. No, he was not a hardliner like type dad,
He didn't teach you how to kill someone with a popsicle stick?
I told you I didn't know he was a badass until I was in college.
You just thought he was this sweet, gentle guy who was in the Navy.
I remember going to the Navy SEAL like reunion parties and stuff, and we went in Virginia Beach. We went to one. I remember I won something from I didn't know what they were. I was clueless. It was before the internet.
Were
They
guys
all
telling you
modest
crazy
back
stories
then.
from them? Well, I mean, were guys like, your dad's like Rambo?
No, just normal stuff, man. No, back then I didn't know. I've heard some stories since then, just setting villages on fire, fun stuff like that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Buku dinky doo! Buku dinky doo! What
There's
is that
one guy
movie?
named Captain Zippo. I think he used to just set the villages on fire.
It's the Sean Penn one with Michael J. Fox. Vietnam. Nobody. Who's
Yeah,
in
I remember
his-
that. I kind of remember that. Yeah.
And he keeps going, Buku dinky doo! Nobody else. So terrible.
Has anyone in this little
Casualties of
comments?
war.
Casualties of war. Thank you very much. Daniel Baldwin
Yeah.
tells the greatest story of he got fired from it, I guess. I saw some podcasts, and he worked one day, and Sean Penn came out and he started talking like that. And Daniel Baldwin, apparently he goes, is he going to do that? And they fired Daniel Baldwin. Not Daniel, Stephen Baldwin, the one from
Right.
the Tarrant or not the Reservoir Dogs, Usual Suspects or whatever.
Doesn't one
So
of
listen,
those
without
balls-
kids, man, at your age, what do you write material about? How do you find material without children?
Well, you just talk. I talk a lot about my dog. I talk a lot about my wife. Talk about my family. You don't have to have material about your children.
Otherwise,
Hold
no.
on. Talk about I'm not good at technology.
Yeah, we got that, dude.
That's so funny. I was like, dude, I got a good setup. Don't worry about it.
You did say
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, but it's your streaming service. I mean, you guys
Yeah,
look good. It
it's
works
us.
good.
Definitely
It doesn't
us.
work good on my server
No.
or whatever.
So what? We just lost our dog,
Ah,
a 20-year-old dog, Max.
20.
He was almost 21, so trust me, it was a blessing. But it was the puggle is gone. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
I walked that dog for 17 years. My wife had him for 3 years before I came along. And now I get up in the morning, I'm like, I got to go walk the dog. Oh, no.
How recent was this?
A week and a half.
Oh my
It was
god.
like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. And so he's been cremated. And my wife is going to get an urn that's like a dog, a little dog memorial that's got his paw print in it. And his name, Maximus. And we're going to put it in the backyard. But she hasn't picked up the remains from the vet. Like over a week. She's like, I can't do it. I go, well, you have to. You're gonna have to do it. And she's
Right.
How did the girls end up taking it? You don't think we ever talked about that?
Oh, they were so emotional for the longest time, even though they never walked him. They would never walk the dog. And so when she was in tears, I miss Max, part of me wanted to go you can't cry. You never walked that. You never took
You didn't earn it. You got to earn
I
it.
walk that dog every day, and he was my old buddy, and we looked alike. We very much looked alike, and
Yeah. Well, you know, that dog probably added years to your life because all the walking you do is good. That's good exercise. Before I had my dog, I'm a pretty in shape person most times, but I had high blood sugar.
Mhm.
I got the dog, and my blood sugar went down just because I was out there walking pretty much like an hour every day. See, they save your life. I always feel like I feel bad. Like on Facebook, someone will be like, "My grandma died," and I'll just put like the little care, that little care thing. But if someone says my dog died, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'll type the whole thing out. I'm so sorry." Because I feel worse about their dog dying.
I am the same way, Andy. I am the exact same way. Where like I've put a little bit of sympathy into like a grandmother or whoever passing,
Yeah.
but a dog passing, I will take the time to write a heartfelt message.
Yeah,
It is a crazy society that, like, if there's a dog on the side of the road, cars will like crash into each other to pull over to try to save the dog. But if there's a homeless guy laying in front of Ralph's, people just step right over him and go right into like that. You're like, screw that guy. But animals, I get it. Animals can't take care of themselves. So yeah.
that's true. Yeah, and the thing with animals is I've had this discussion with my mom is that a dog, like the connection there, someone in your family or close friend dies, it's horrible, obviously, but especially horrible for people who are directly connected to them. But you have this relationship with your pet that's different. It's a very close bond. You spend so much time with that. You don't spend that much time with a person like you do with your pet. Do I sound mean? I think you're staring at me. You're kind of
Well, here's what
dick,
we have
dude.
children. Here's what happens. My wife had the dog. The dog slept in her bed. I mean, she loved that dog. And when we got married, I had to fly from New York to California with the dog. And so I put him in a crate and he was below, you have to put him down below. And the plane got stuck on the runway for like 2 hours. I'm like losing it, going, the dog's going to die. And she keeps telling me if the dog dies, I'm not coming out there. Not coming out there. And I go,
Wait, she said that to you?
said that, but who knows what's going on in her head. And so we get out. The dog is fine. He comes. He lives here and stuff. And we're like all about the dog. And we take the dog hiking, and the dog's everything. And we're all. And then we have a kid, and the dog. It's like when the new player joins the team, and the star gets relegated down to the ninth. Yeah. You're batting ninth. He's like, what? I was batting cleanup a week ago. And you're like, sorry, brother. We just brought somebody up from the minors, and you're going down. And then you have the second kid, and he's like, I'm getting dropped. I'm getting cut. We got to trade you, my brother. We got to trade you. He was also like, listen, he was our dog, and we loved him. He was a puggle. He was kind of a dick.
Breathing problems.
So food obsessed that he was not a good dog. He was not a good dog. Anything were food. Like you couldn't, if you put a garbage bags like somewhere, he'd get it. Like he couldn't control himself. Couldn't train him. I actually have a bit about where I tried to train him and he peed in my mouth. It's a long story and I won't.
Really?
Yeah, I won't bore it.
Yeah.
But I still loved him and I walked him every day and nobody else would walk him. And I walked that crazy ass dog and
And you saved him from an owl and tried to eat him.
Owl tried to take him, landed on his back. An owl tried to pick him up. He's like 50 pounds, and the owl tried to pick him up and couldn't get him.
He's too fat. My buddy's dog got picked up by a hawk in Atlanta, and punctured his lungs and his side, but dropped him. Picked him up way up high in the air, and then dropped him out of the air. And I think he got hurt, broke his leg or something.
So
he survived.
We just realized that there's a bald eagle nest directly in the tree, like not even a block over, and we can see it. So now we have to be out there with our pets all like we used to, like put them in because we have a fenced in yard. But now that there's a bald eagle, obviously our pets are really close. It's like basically a DoorDash for them. And it's not something we need to happen.
Man, you really live in America, don't you? Bald eagle right there.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend from Alaska who the father came home with like puppies. They had a bunch of puppies. And sure enough, an eagle came and took one of the puppies and was gone. And she lost her mind. She's like, and the father's like, there's nothing I can do. It's gone. He's gone. And there's not.
Jobo's here.
I guarantee that's why she was so damaged. Was from the eagle. Jobo! I'm so glad you made it, brother. I know Jobo's he's like the rest of us. He's like, what is happening in this world? What are we doing, man?
Have you seen that video of the family that were like, they nursed, I think it was a rabbit back to health. It's a video, and they're like, they let it go in the yard, and there's sweet music playing, and all of a sudden this hawk comes down, takes off with it. After they nursed it back to health, they're like, okay, we're letting it go in the wild. Here we go. And within like not even like 4 seconds, a hawk comes down. I'm like, that's life for you right there. That is,
dude. That is life. And I talk to my kids about this all the time. She'll say stuff like, God, my 9-year-old, like anytime I say somebody go, oh, he was a singer in the 70s. She's like, is he dead? And I'll be like, oh, actually he is. And she's like, how did he die? I'm like, dude, she's so obsessed with like death. And I go, here, what if we try this? Let's live in the moment. Let's just enjoy. It's the circle of life, says Jobo.
Yeah.
I really, as an improviser, I taught myself to live in the moment so much that a lot of times I forget what's coming down the road because I'm like, today's the day. Let's get through today. My daughter, even now, she was just asking me something about the weekend. I was like, let's get through today. We'll deal with that when it gets there and stuff. And so I try to teach my kids to be in the moment so much. And I think it is a really important lesson because I think people are terrified of the future coming at them and they forget to live in the moment and enjoy life.
That's important. You got to be that way. You got to be that way because, yeah, the future is not as bright as it used to be. I'm enjoying this moment with you guys. It's such a good moment.
It is. I love every time I do the show. I'm like, ugh, I got to do the show, and then by the end of the show, I kind of feel good that I got a lot off my chest.
Hey, I got a question for you guys as dads, since the Parent Podcast or the Parents Lounge podcast. What do you now, Jamie? How old's your oldest? 9.
She's going to be 10 on Saturday.
Okay,
but Hannah's older.
Oh, the older one's 11. She'll be 12 in August. So they're 18 months
okay.
apart. The youngest is going to be 10. So starting Saturday, I'll have a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old.
And Jason, how old are your kids?
My oldest is 9, and then I have twin 6-year-olds.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
So,
and they're autistic. So
autistic.
Every day for me is just a punch right in the fucking face.
But both of the twins are autistic?
They are,
wow.
Yeah.
And his wife had a stroke during childbirth, and she can't really drive a car, and she has some medical issues as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how was that Argentinian brunch you had today? Was that good?
Yeah, that brunch I had was, oh man,
I still have not eaten today.
And he's not fasting. He just never got around to it.
It just never happened for me.
What's the question, Andy? What's the question?
Well, I was just going to ask you. You may have talked about this kind of stuff before, but Jason, your kids, both of you, your kids are probably too young. But how do you guys handle social media stuff and the phones and all that stuff? They're probably not quite there yet.
So our oldest, we have to monitor very closely YouTube with him. He does have a tablet. We will not let him have a phone until he's starts youth sports, where it's something where he's going to need to call us for rides and stuff. That we've been very clear about that. Social media, we watch his history and we have parental controls. It shuts off at 9, so he can't use the tablet after that. And then back at 9, and it's basically from 9 to 9 he can't use the devices.
Now, is it a battle, or is it like he's like whatever?
Oh, it's like pulling it is literally like Avengers Endgame every day here. Like we are fighting a battle.
And it's not just us, dude. It's a negotiation of every day of do this or you lose that.
Every day.
My kids, he's not on social media though, Jason. I don't think he
doesn't have social media, but he does. I mean, he does like watching YouTube videos.
I stopped YouTube. We don't do YouTube. My kids can't do anything on their iPad they have to send me an approval, and I can approve for 15 minutes, for 1 hour, or for all day. And most of the time I'm like, no.
Who
The
set
last
that
time I
up
was at
for
the
you?
show.
Because did you set that up yourself or did somebody help you?
I did in my family plan. I set it up, but somebody had
Wow.
shown me eons ago how to do it. Dude, I have a joke about it because we signed a pledge that my daughter won't get a cell phone until she's in high school. And so I felt bad for her. So I let her use my phone to play music to and from school because I drive them to and from school. And so she played Taylor Swift all the time. And I don't know if you know how algorithms work, but now my phone thinks I love Taylor Swift. And
Right.
anytime I just put my phone on, hey, let's just shuffle some music, my phone's like, Jamie, have I got some music for you?
I got some music for you, buddy.
And I'm like, oh, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's okay. I'm going to shake it off. And so that's how the joke goes. But it's so true because all of a sudden I'll be playing my phone and it's like Sabrina Carpenter, Dua Lipa, Taylor Swift come on. And I'm always like, it kind of makes me smile and laugh a bit. But
Yeah.
I know, right? Jobo says, bit hypocritical, huh? Taking
I know,
the
that's what I was
YouTube
laughing at.
while being in the YouTube. Listen, I'm 100 years old and they don't, she's actually, I let her watch some YouTube because she crochets and she's watching like YouTube videos and they like YouTube shorts, which are absolutely like criminally insane. It's just terrible content.
Did your kids get caught up in the skibbity toilet business, Jamie, or is that below their?
I heard, I've heard the songs of like Hannah Farts. Hannah Farts.
Hey, I got to
there's
find
a-
that. That's good.
There's an artist who has basically taken every name you can think of and written a song. Jason Farts, Jason Farts, and you can find any name farts in a song. And we went through that for a while, and I think it was raining tacos for a while.
Dude, I mean, I can't. So you guys are experiencing it firsthand. I don't know. It's we didn't. I know I'm old or whatever, but I think it was great that we didn't have any of that stuff. It's such an old thing to say. But learns too much about just about using a tool for education. But he learns so much. Yeah.
My thing with YouTube is always it's like because I use it when it's like how to change a tire. I had to use it, the big folding blue screens that you can put behind you, and then you have to kind of wind them up, and the screen collapses, but it has to fold a certain way.
Yeah,
I had to go on YouTube to figure it out, and the guy literally in 2 seconds showed me how to do it, and it was pretty amazing. But for the first
that's
3
how
minutes,
I fixed my washing machine, so we didn't have to buy a new one. I did
the same. I did the same. I looked up, and some guy put together a video that was really intricate about my specific machine.
Yep.
Even like the problem I had, and he took it apart and put it back together, and I did the exact same thing. But the first 3 minutes of every one of those videos is basically him pleading with you. Listen, man, trust me, I'm gonna show you how to fix your dishwasher. But if you could just subscribe. I'm working at Chief Auto Parts like 60 hours a week. I'm hanging on. I made this video for you. You could, I swear to God, I know you're just going to watch it and you're going to leave and you're not, but if you could, for the love, it doesn't cost you any money. If you could just subscribe, I swear to God, I'll give you anything. I'll send you money if you could just for like 7 minutes. So everyone just scrolls to like minute 4. And then he's like, fine, here's how to fix
Here's how you do it.
Dishwasher. And nobody subscribes.
And then a hawk comes down and picks them up.
Dude,
that's life, bro.
The owl's wing clipped my ear. The dog was walking in front of me, not on leash. I thought it was a jogger running past me, and I got kind of pissed. And all of a sudden, I looked in front, and I saw like an 8-foot wingspan in front of my eyes as he landed on my dog in front of me and then rolled over the top and then stood up. It was a horned owl like this. And by the way,
Wow.
they're huge birds. He was like 3.5 feet tall and monstrous. And my dog was like 20 at the time and couldn't hear, see, and didn't even know an owl almost took him and just walked right up into the garage, right in front of my house, right in Studio City, California, like crazy. Yeah. And then when the dog passed away, I went looking for the owl of like, dude, I've got dinner. Yeah. Let's get back into the cycle of life. Let's get him back in. It's carbon, but
No, they're predators. They don't. You would have to have animated him in some way before the owl would have got
Hey,
him.
just
where
held
is
him
that?
up like, look at me, I'm still alive. And then
That'd be
the
weird
owl
if
would
your
eat-
wife goes to pick up the ashes and the owl's outside waiting.
and he's like, "You overcooked it, man. I can't eat that."
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
I'm sorry, whatever your dog's name is, Bobo.
Listen, Max had hey, at 7 years, he lived to 147. Is it 7 years per year for a dog?
So
7
yeah,
years
what's
for
this-
for everyone.
That's what they say. There's a new scale how they do it. But so what was the secret? Did you guys feed your dog anything special or?
No, I was actually really strict because I watched him as a puppy eat an entire rotisserie chicken, bones and all, where we were like, well, he's dead. He can't survive that.
Yeah.
And he was laying down for like 2 days, but then he finally got up. And I watched him over the years eat a diaper, a Brillo pad, a pencil. I have a picture of green poop because he ate a box of green crayons.
Right.
And pooped a giant green poop. Like he ate everything. He'd eat
Oh,
anything.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, like he ate his own poop. We called him self-cleaning oven because he ate his own poop for years.
He lived like a king.
It wasn't like we didn't feed him. He was like, every time he'd poop, he'd turn around and go, "Hey, who left me a treat?" And then he'd eat it. And I'd be like, dude, no more kisses for Max.
Yeah. I love dogs, but that's the one thing I just don't get it. I don't know why they do that.
What kind of dog do you have, Andy?
He's not here right now. He's a little terrier mix. He's great. He was a
sleep in your
rescue.
bed? Do you let him sleep in the bed?
We had him for like 2 days. He was found on the streets of Mexico. He was all cut up and beat up, and this lady found him and she nursed him back to health. So we got him. He was already house trained and stuff, but we had him for like 2 days. I was like, he's not gonna be in the furniture. Let's not have him on the bed. And within 2 days, he was on the furniture and he was in the bed. And at some point, it was like he would want to sleep in his own bed. And we'd like, get up here, bud.
I can't have dogs sleeping in my bed, man.
But he's not big. He's 22 pounds, and we got a king size
Doesn't
bed.
matter. They don't wear underpants. And then they settle in on the pillow, and it's like they just brand it with their cinnamon knot. I can't have it, dude.
But your dog's gross, dude. My dog's classy and dignified. My dog doesn't eat his own. He's not a self-poop eating machine. I mean, no offense to your dog. I never met him, and I'm sorry he passed away. And if you posted about it on Facebook, I would write a long message as compared to if it was like, just a friend of yours or something. But this is going too far. Anyway, my dog stays in the bed. I want him up there. He's comforting. I like to touch his paws when I'm sleeping.
That's cool.
Like holding a little hand.
Yeah, it's like I'm holding a little hand.
I'm getting
good energy from him.
I used to do that with our Chihuahua. We actually just lost I had him 15 years, and we just lost him in November.
This podcast is depressing, dude.
Dead dogs. Did you have a dog as a kid, Andy? I never had a pet. I had a bird who died in 3 days. I never had a few turtles. I had a bird named Fred. My parents got me a bird.
What kind of bird?
4th or 5th grade. Literally 3 days later, dead. I sobbed. I just remember like openly weeping. Like, hey, my friend's talking
Well,
and then
how did he die?
dad was so pissed. Like he tried to take it back, I think, or something, and he was just so angry. He's like, "No more birds!"
Wait, what happened to the bird?
He died 3 days in.
I know, but from what?
Then who knows? Like, he was dead at the bottom of the cage. They told me it was because I left the window open in New Hampshire in the summer. I go, and so all of a sudden I had a window phobia. I think I had a window issue for years. I still maybe I don't know what happened to me, but it's probably why I became a comic. Jesus, y'all need a pet cemetery. Hey, I don't want to be buried in the pet cemetery. Did you have a dog as a kid, Andy?
Was it the bullying, Jamie? Do you want to get this
I've written did you read it?
I read about half of it, but I got
bullied horribly in high school.
I was actually bullied pretty hard in like middle school.
Which is weird for a guy whose dad is a SEAL.
Well, what was cool about that? My brother was on the wrestling team in high school, and they would come over to the middle school to recruit. And this kid was bullying me. And I told my brother about it. And this kid was big. He was like, he'd been held back a few years, just kind of like your story. I read part of your story. I didn't have a chance to finish it, but so my brother was like, all right, we're going to show you guys a few moves, some throws and stuff. They had the wrestling mats, and I already pointed out who the guy was. So my brother's a big, wrestler dude from high school. He points this kid out. His name was James Flaherty. My brother's like head and arms, so and everyone's going, oh. So he just used this guy as a rag doll. And he was like, hey, stay away from my brother. He gave him a little whisper, stay away from my brother. Anyway. So I had that. That's my good. Remember that movie, My Bodyguard? That was from like the 80s?
Baldwin. That's an Adam Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin.
And Christopher Makepeace. And isn't Matt Dillon the bully? Matt Dillon's the bully.
Is he?
You guys are looking at me like I'm like talking gibberish. Yeah. He's not related. It's the Baldwin from Full Metal Jacket, Adam Baldwin.
Okay. But he's one of the Baldwin brothers?
He's not one of the Baldwin brothers. No, he's a different Baldwin.
That's a
and
Baldwin.
then Matt Dillon was the bully.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? We remember that, and then I can work with a guy all day, and then at the end of the day, I can't remember their name. And yet I can tell you this full credit list of My Bodyguard from 1977.
Well, the old stuff sticks.
It's crazy.
I can read a book. This has happened to me a couple times where I read a book and then someone tells me about a book. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. Let me take a look at that. I'll download the book and I'll start reading. I'm like, oh, I fucking read this book. I read this book. I read this whole book. I couldn't remember the title or anything. That's insane.
That's
how many hours?
Like that. That's a bit. That's a good one.
I mean,
I've done the same. I
with
did
a
it with
book.
a movie the other night. I got halfway through a movie of The Professor and the Madman. Sean Penn and Mel Gibson they write the original dictionary. It's the craziest movie ever. And I was watching it, and halfway through, I was like, I saw this before.
Right. No wonder you forgot it. It was a book about how they wrote the dictionary. A movie about how they wrote the dictionary.
Really?
Is there a lot of twists and turns in that? Like,
I really like. It's actually super interesting when you think about writing the very first dictionary, and you are capturing the language, and it's all these guys from Oxford, but it turns out to be the Scottish guy because they have to document the word, the origin of it from like hundreds of years earlier, 15, 16, 1700. And so they have to find it in like Paradise Lost by Milton and find that word and its origins. Super interesting, actually, I thought. Jobo does that with porn sometimes. Oh. You know what's funny, Jobo? Never once with porn. I remember every frame of it. Every frame sticks in my head. Lots of twists and turns. Very much so. Very much so. That's so funny. Dude.
But Andy does watch it with the captions on.
Always.
That's right.
Sound off, captions on.
You watch your porn with captions but no sound?
Yeah, I like to do the sound myself. I add my own sound effects. I do it like a Foley artist. I have all kinds of props, chains, and boards. And when a guy walks, I step across the room so you hear the footsteps, and then I Foley artist the whole thing. Yes.
Some old fruit.
Jamie the Foley.
Yeah, you got to get a lot of creams and old fruit if you're going to do Foley for porn. That's what I think.
You know, Andy, I got to tell you, man, you have a lot less stress in your life. It feels like you're just so calm and casual, and you're like just hanging. Not a lot of stress in your life, it feels like.
You think so? You wouldn't know. You don't know. There's so much stress. I'm joking.
From what, man? If there's no kid stress,
what is the biggest stressor in your life? What is the big factor for you?
Yeah, you're right. I don't have any stress. I just want.
He doesn't want to tell us. You have double income, no kids. I mean, it feels like it's a glorious life.
It's pretty good.
We probably all have wives who watch Instagram and go, "Why isn't my life like this?" That's what I feel like. That's what I deal with on a daily basis. I feel like my wife
all the way.
My wife's looking at Instagram, going like, why is everyone living the greatest lives ever, and my life just is this whole humdrum kind of like taking care of kids? Do you guys feel that way too?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone feels the humdrum, man. It doesn't matter how good you got it. I think if it doesn't matter how good you got it, there's got to be like, even billionaires got to be waking up going, it's boring.
I had an interesting week. Jamie, you know this story.
Oh yeah, let's hear about it.
My oldest kept calling me upstairs. He needed me to come upstairs. And the tone of his voice said to me something was off about that request. So I went to the bottom stairs and I yelled, "Hey, buddy, come on down. We'll talk about what you need." "No, I need you to come upstairs." And the urgency in which he said it said to me something was not okay. And Andy, just as I started to go up the stairs, I noticed there was a rope tied to the banister directly above. And as I look, a paint can comes swinging down past my head. That little shit was going to Home Alone me. And I
No
missed
way.
it. And when it swung through the second time, I leaned back and just for a brief second thought, if I take this, I could use the coma. I could use the week off. On the other side of that, I said to him, "Do you understand that would have seriously fucking hurt me?" And he's
Right.
like, well, the guy in the movie gets right back up. And I'm like, this is not a movie. This is my face.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he tried
That
to
would
Home Alone me.
really, that's insanity.
That's
You
my
got to
life.
know what? No YouTube.
That's a sociopath, basically. But
Yeah.
the truth is, you thought about taking one.
Yeah, when it
I
came, when it
did,
came
but-
swinging back, you're like, I think I'm going to stand in front of it, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're
Well,
saying.
honestly,
For a
2 weeks in
brief
the hospital sounds pretty fantastic right now.
Yeah.
What you could do is set up your own and then just
And just
blame
let
it
it
on
happen.
him.
I
Yeah.
have a question for you guys, and this is pre my children and stuff. And I thought about this recently because I haven't done it in a long time. Did you guys ever sleep in the nude
Yes.
No,
in your whole life, Andy? You were never a nude sleep.
probably a couple nights here and there, but I always slept in my underwear. Yeah.
Was it so you sleep in underpants, like whitey tighties or boxers, or
Back in the day, it was tidy whities. These days, it's boxer shorts. Yeah, I like to keep my, in case there's an emergency, I got to get up. I want my junk collected and protected.
Yes, I feel the same way, but I wear like silky basketball shorts that are kind of loosey goosey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember in my 20s, I was thinking about this recently, that I slept. I went through a period where I liked sleeping in the nude.
Yeah.
Nobody else? Jason?
I don't enjoy. I'm always, look, you are one shard away from that going awry. And I just am not. I just
Right.
Absolutely.
I don't want to take that gamble.
No, but I mean, there was something back in the day when I was single. I must have been in my 20s. I wasn't quite covered with fur yet. I wasn't wearing compression socks. I didn't feel like like my body was probably in the best shape it ever was. And I just remember, I think I had a futon. Remember the years of futons, Andy?
Oh yeah.
Did you have a futon where you're like, you were the
yeah,
cool
I had
guy
a
with the
futon.
apartment where you're like, it's a couch, man. But if you stay late enough, it's a bed. Like,
That's right. Those were good times.
those times are over. But I was sleeping in the nude, and this is how the story goes. I was 20s. I think I might have been still in the Navy, and I had an apartment in San Diego, and we were boozing pretty hard. And so I get up in the morning, I'm pretty hungover, and I'm nude, and it's San Diego. Nobody has AC. It's kind of hot. And so I don't have really sheets on me or whatever. And my phone, those were the days with phones, like not a cell phone. They weren't cell phones. So you had like a ding, and you pick up the phone and hold it to your head. And it was my mother. My mother was calling me, and I was answering the phone like a Sunday morning, like, "Hey, what's happening?" or whatever. And we were talking for a while. And when you just are laying on the phone, how your arms reach a certain point on your body. You know what I'm talking about? Like you're not deliberately doing anything, but your arm the way like a pendulum.
That's just a spot
The
for it to
natural
rest.
sway.
It's a natural resting spot
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
hand.
I get it.
It's almost like a protective mechanism, like a it's like a cup where it can protect. Something comes shooting through the window, your hand's there to protect it. So
Right.
you're basically, my hand's on top of my stuff. I'm on the phone. I'd forgotten my girlfriend was coming over, and my roommate had let her in, and so she walked upstairs, and I was laying on my bed on the phone, no clothes on, and I had my hand on my shenanigans, just laying there. And then she opened the door, and that's the picture she saw.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, what's happening?" And then she was like totally freaked out. And I said, "No, I'm not. It's just I was sleeping, and phone rang." And then
It's
she
just
was
my
like,
mom.
and she goes, "Who are you talking to?" And I
Oh,
was
sorry.
like, I go, "It's my mom." Exactly right. I mean, everyone sees it. And then I think we broke up later that day.
It's my mom's 1-900 number.
Well, I'm interested to see if anyone. And he goes, "Your cinnamon knot is fine, but not the dogs." I think that's part of the problem with so I'm always still amazed. It was a very short period that I slept with no clothes on, and as an Irish Catholic, dude, that was like major. Like, we're here, man. And now if I'm nude in the bed, I feel very uncomfortable. Like nothing feels right.
You froze up. There you go. You're back. I had one time I was in Vegas. The first time I ever performed in Vegas, working this crappy, like the Plaza Hotel, old Vegas, Fremont Street. Way back, I was a pretty new comic. Anyway, I did the show, and there was some guy that was a whale. He just was like a guy that hung out at the casino, had a bunch of money, and we sat there at the bar. He was just feeding me tequila. I went to bed. Nothing like that. I went to bed, and I was so disoriented. I went to get up to use the bathroom. I was just wearing boxer shorts, and I walked straight out the front door of the hotel room, and the door shut behind me. So I'm just standing there in boxer shorts. And this plaza had 2 towers. And so I was in the tower where there was not a front desk. So to get down to the front desk, you have to go down and then cut across, go to the front desk. Now, the story would have been better if I had to go all the way to the front desk, but luckily I found a courtesy phone. But it was on the 3rd floor where you could cross over, and there was people down there playing slots. And I was on the phone. I'm like, "Hey," I locked myself out of the room. And I had to stand in the middle of a casino in my boxer shorts, hammered. And I'm like, "Hey, guys, sorry." But I remember the security guy, he let me in. I was so embarrassed. And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. That's nothing." He goes, "I remember there was a woman, she was completely butt naked out here. Her boyfriend or whatever threw her out of the room. She's like, give me something at least." And he gave her a washcloth. But anyway, that's my that's what happens if you sleep nude. I would have been nude in a casino. Would have been a better story.
It's a good story, though, dude.
It's a great story.
When the guy was like, "Oh, you haven't seen anything. Come on, Vegas, man. I've been in Vegas with some crazy stories where people, once they leave the room and it clicks behind them, they're like, you're on your own, man."
Yeah, somebody else told Larry the Cable Guy. It was Larry the Cable Guy told that story on here when he was.
He has it with Foxworthy. He and Foxworthy.
It happened with him and Foxworthy. Yeah, Foxworthy had the only key, and he pretended like he didn't know who he was.
I remember in high school we used to go skinny dipping. There was a big park in the middle of Manchester, Derryfield Park, and there was a big pool, and everyone would jump the fence and strip naked and go swimming and stuff. And I just remember, it's like a Bob Seger / Springsteen song of it's kind of dark. It's barely illuminated. Everyone's running around naked, jumping in the pool. I just remember feeling very alive, like super, have you guys ever done skinny dipping like that?
Hey, you're making me feel alive right now, man.
Yeah.
That story's getting me. That's getting me alive.
I mean, come on, man. Have you never gone skinny dipping with a bunch of people?
I don't know if I did with people. We had a pool. our house had a pool in the backyard when I moved to Virginia. So I
I've
did
done
that.
it both. I've done it both regular and polar bear.
If you take that sentence out of context, that could mean
Yeah, that came out of context. So wait, you had we had a pool in my backyard as a kid. It was one of the above ground pools where you'd spin it and create like
I remember swimming in that naked just because I was like, "Ooh!" But I don't think everyone's skinny dipping with like chicks or anything.
You've never gone in the ocean nude?
Probably when I was drunk. Yes, yeah. I'm pretty
When
sure
I was in San Diego during that last story, we lived right at the end of Law Street where it hit the water when I was in the Navy, and we would middle of the night we'd be like hammered. People would just strip naked and run for the water because you could run. We were like one house away from the water, and we would just run down and run in the ocean and then come out.
See, I can't swim naked in the ocean. It attracts seals.
Yeah, you would get eaten. We had a thing when I was in Falmouth. My buddy in college was in Falmouth, and we hammered like this crazy stuff you do when you're drunk. And here's the other thing: nobody had cameras. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you could do stuff like that, and you weren't like someone's gonna post this shit.
Right. There weren't even security cameras.
We got shitty drunk at some party, and then we said we're gonna race. Everyone's gonna race naked, and we had like it must have been like 20 people in just sneakers, and we had like a 3-mile run nude.
Wow.
Massachusetts, and it was epic. I still remember. Oh, I also remember like nudes, like streaking on a golf course.
I did it on a college campus once, and I had ripped the rain gutter off somebody's house, and I was hitting random passenger, like people walking down the street, running through on my way through, and it was.
There is something really liberating. So when I don't even think you don't see streakers much anymore, but back in like the sporting events in like the 70s and 80s, you would see, oh, here comes a streaker. And you'd be like, all right, dude, yes. And then they'd be like, oh, we don't want to encourage that, right? And so they won't show it. And part of me is like, oh no, we need more.
We should
encourage it as often as possible.
We should bring it back.
We should bring streaking back.
We should. I think
America needs it. The world needs it. The world needs it.
I agree, Andy. You know, I think we're really onto something. What do people think? Well, I want to hear some comments. I think streaking should come back. I think we're too prudish. And it's so funny now. I'm way freer with my body than I was. Like, so I was in pretty good shape in my 20s. I just was white with red fur, so I was afraid to like take my shirt off at the beach. But now I couldn't. Now I'd walk around in a Speedo, and I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, who cares?
It's weird when you get old. It's the old guy who doesn't care about his body, right? It's like, I don't care. I'm not going to be here much longer anyway. Take a gander if you want.
Well, I used to always wonder, like, how old guys. Like, how do you not see like that the hair's coming out of your ear or off your nose or whatever? And then I realized you lose your close-up vision as you get older. So unless you're wearing your reader glasses while you're brushing your teeth or whatever, you're not going to see. And sometimes I'll pluck one, and then I swear to God, like it's like Jason from Friday the 13th. It comes back over here like the next day, like it wasn't there before, and all of a sudden it's back. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I was like that the other night. I was sitting like this, and I was like, what is that? And it was like one halfway between my eyebrow and my hairline, and it was like this long. And I was like, where
How did you not see that? Right.
Didn't see it. All of a sudden you feel it, and you're like, what is that about? That's great. Man, I used to get naked and swim. It's how I picked up chicks for a while. Joe, seriously, right? Like there is something so great about like
bringing streaking back.
In New Hampshire.
It's time.
Like Lake Winnipesaukee or going to Hampton Beach or something. I just there was a granite quarry too in Manchester. And I remember just totally nude, swimming in the dark. Just the exhilaration of it, the feeling of it. And you're right. It's like, no, you were never afraid. Like if you did that now at a party, every single person would film you. And they'd post it like to their social media, like, look at this crazy guy. And like, they're going to get likes and follows and subscribers off of somebody else doing something cool to shame them.
You're going to go to jail, and then you're going to be processed for being creepy.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
then you can no longer attend anything.
Wait,
That's why if we bring it back,
you can't be nude in public?
you're not supposed to be nude in public.
You're not
no.
supposed to be.
What?
Go test it out. Get out there right now, Jamie.
Dude,
Bring your
Matt
camera.
Gates,
Let's see.
Matt Gates says it's totally fine as long as it's a high school party.
That's right.
And then just a hawk swoops in and takes it.
Yeah.
That feels like a natural end. It's
Yeah,
9:05.
perfect.
You know, it's funny. After I told the nude sleeping story, then Andy started to come out with some stories. Then he goes, "Okay, I'll start to tell some naked hotel story from the
That's
road."
right. They happen.
That's your craziest. That's your craziest hotel story from the road. I mean, 20. How long you been doing stand up? 25 years.
Yeah, August will be 27, I think. It's a long time, dude.
Dude,
What am
that's
I
a
doing?
career. Do you know how hard it is to keep a career going like that? Let me ask you. Tell everyone where you're going to be in your next few gigs.
Let's see. I'm going to be at the Grove in Lowell, Arkansas, which is a great club. And then I'm going to be, that's March 6th through 8th. I mean, tomorrow, if you're in LA, I'm going to be at Comedy and Magic, and then Friday at Westside Comedy Club in Santa Monica. And then, this is a good one. I'll be at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Las Vegas, March 17th through the 23rd for the first week of the March Madness tournament.
Ooh.
Our buddy Eddie Pence is there this week
Being
with
there now.
Garrett actually headlining. But yeah, that's a great club. Comedy
Great club.
Magic Club's one of our favorite clubs of all time. You can never go wrong at that place. Westside Comedy, our buddies, one of the owners. Actually, I know a bunch of the owners. Fantastic club in Santa Monica.
Yep.
I'm at the Mint tomorrow night in Hollywood. I'm doing a fundraiser for first responders. And Sunday, I am at Flappers Comedy Club, 5 p.m. show, headlining that. So that should be fun. And Jason has shows tomorrow night.
I'm in the Legacy Lounge in Waverly, New York tomorrow night, and I'm also there on Saturday night with Jay Yoder from the Board Teachers Tour.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
Listen, Andy, thank you so much. Where can people find you? Do you want them to come find
Just-
you?
yeah, at Andy Hendrickson on almost social media. That's probably fine.
And our dry bar, I'll have you back on when the dry bar comes out and we'll help promote it. We're really
That'd be
proud
good.
of it. It was super fun to do.
It was
a little
fun.
nerve-wracking, sober audiences, squeaky clean, but super fun hang, dude. It was super fun.
Yeah,
to
super
kind of-
That was fun.
Meeting you, man.
Yeah, good meeting you.
So thank you so
Um,
much for coming on and sharing your stories about your crazy dad. And I can't wait to see the documentary on the Iron Man. It's such a crazy event.
Yes.
Jobo, we'll leave it on Jobo. I can't go skinny dipping in the ocean. Shrimp have too many natural predators, and that's you know what? Thank you, Jobo, for
Perfect
taking us
way to
home. All right, thank you guys. Be sure to, if you're on YouTube, please follow and subscribe. And we love you all. We'll see you next week here in the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.